Okay, we're on board. We're ready to roll. Tonight's meeting, May 21st. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's 6:03. And we have Sandy Slavin. Acknowledge, please.
Yes.
Donna Bronk
Present.
and myself, Gibberti. We have minutes from the meeting of May 5th for approval.
No, Jim, I have a concern I have an issue with the minutes. When we talked about the spring town meeting, there really are special spring town meeting as opposed to just spring town meeting. So we have to call them special. On the second page.
Yeah.
They really have to be identified as special spring town meeting. And I had asked that the funding source be identified for these three articles. And we really need to, instead of grant the funds, grant the WPCF retained earnings. Because we said in the minutes, we said in the meeting, the source of those funds, and they need to be included in the minute.
Okay. All right, so we'll.
The other changes I asked for, the other corrections I asked for were done. But I really think we need to identify the funding source we had approved.
Okay, then we'll postpone these minutes to the next meeting for the
Thank you.
for corrections.
Yes.
All right. Now we have some abatements. We have a bunch of them. We start with East Street in the amount of $626, and it recommended that it be abated. Water has been turned off since April of 15.
I make a motion that we approve the abatement based on the superintendent's recommendation for East Street.
Thank you.
I
Second.
second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Donna, Sandy,
Aye.
Jim. Aye. The next one is the recommending the abatement of $313, and this is for 47 12th Street, as the water has been shut.
Wait a minute. The next abatement is 41st 13th Street. If I look at the agenda.
Okay, well, I
Go
just
one
had
more. That's what I
had
did.
it out of order. That's all. That's Peter. Can't take it just yet. Let's do this one. I'll come back to the 13th. I haven't found it yet.
So we're talking 47 12th Street.
Yep, this is the number 3 on the agenda. I'm sorry. Oh, Steve, did you just call me? Okay, back to this 47 12th Street, $313.
I make a motion that we approve it based on the
Okay,
superintendent's recommendation.
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Donna, Sandy, Jim. The next one is 12B West Central Avenue. And the amount of $645.45.
Is Guy recommending?
Yes, recommended by the Superintendent.
I make a motion that we approve it as recommended by the director.
Second,
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Sandy? Donna,
Yes.
aye. Jim? Aye. The next item is 45 Wonkinko Ave in the amount of $626 recommended by the superintendent.
I make a motion that we approve it based on the superintendent's recommendation.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Sandy? Donna?
aye,
Aye. Jim? The next item, recommended abatement in the amount of $1,252 for 245 Main Street.
Is Guy recommending that we?
Yes, this is a recommendation.
I make a motion that we approve it based on the superintendent's recommendation.
second,
Time out. The recommendation is to deny it.
I'm sorry. You're correct. I
I
misread it.
withdraw my motion.
I withdraw my
misread
second.
it. Misread it.
I make a motion that we deny it as recommended by the superintendent.
When everybody has time, read it. It's from the attorney downtown Wareham, Attorney Conroy. It's a lengthy letter, and he's basing everything on water consumption, what the average house uses, et cetera, and so he has a problem with EDU structure. There is no policy in place to grant his abatement, so that's why it's denied.
Okay, and I second Donna's motion to
Okay,
deny.
all in favor? Denial?
Aye,
Aye.
And Jim, aye. Unanimous. All right. Okay, this is recommended abatement in the amount of $260.85.
the address is 85 Minot Ave.
85 Minot Ave, affirmative.
What's the recommendation of the superintendent?
To
accepted.
abate him, it's the Minot School is no longer there.
I got you. So I make a motion that we approve the abatement based on the superintendent's recommendation.
Second,
And all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Aye. Sandy, aye.
Yeah.
8 Woodbury Street. And recommending the abatement in the amount of $313.
I make a motion that we approve it based on the superintendent's recommendation.
second,
And all in favor?
Aye.
Donna, Sandy, Jim, aye. Okay. And now for 62 Rose Point. The abatement in the amount of $104.34.
I make a motion that we approve it based on the recommendation of the superintendent.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Donna, Sandy, Jim, aye. $311 Onset Ave. Recommending the abatement in the amount of $645.50.
Make a motion that we abate it based on the recommendation of the superintendent.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Donna, Sandy, Jim, aye. There's one on the agenda. I don't happen to have it. It's for that
Okay,
41.
I can read it.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have that one yet. Please do.
41, it was the second document in 41 13th Street. I am recommending the first half of FY '20 in the amount of $313 and the second half of FY '20 in the amount of $313 be abated for a total of $626. The water has been turned off since October 2017. Water letter attached. That's what the memo says.
Make a
Okay.
motion that we approve the abatement based on the superintendent's recommendation.
I'll second it. There we go. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's passed. 6 Chapel Lane, I did not have, which is the next item on the agenda. I didn't have in my packet.
Which
so.
Chapel Lane was just a discussion. We had talked about length of time, so you can tie that into your policy of time. That's all it was. It was an example of an individual that wants to get a letter or permission to tie into the sewer, and once he gets it, he'll purchase the property. And then once he purchases the property, he's got to go through a whole long rigmarole. We don't know how long it's going to take. So as an example of the extreme of the policy, but your policy addresses that, give them 1 year.
Okay,
If
so
they
this
can't
will,
tie in, they lose it. So I think this is an example of
this
that.
will, all right, we'll put that onto the policy at end. Anybody have any objection to that?
No?
Okay. Lucky Goat, 279 Main Street is looking for a whole bunch of stuff.
Well, they're looking to connect to the town. So, well, they're already connected.
They're already connected.
So
Right.
what triggers the board's evaluation is the increase of flow, which is not significant, but because it's a brewery, there's an impact from BOD, TSS, pH, and those kind of things, and it's in the letter. It explains that, and you get the numbers. What we're going to do is we're going to mandate that they put a sampler in there, composite sampler, and sample for those things. This particular brewery is going to put a side stream in to collect the TSS, to collect the BOD. So they're saying that it should be minimal to us. Well, the sampling will prove that one way or the other. And as we sample, if we can, prove that the BODs is down as they say it is, TSS, pH, et cetera, then I see no issues. If it's
Okay, so
not, have to do another filter to get it down to acceptable numbers.
okay, so you're recommending that this go ahead
I am.
based
I am.
based on the conditions that you've just mentioned.
Conditions have to apply to, to sample and
Right,
to
okay.
make sure that their pre-treatment, their side treatment is
Right.
operational.
Can I get a motion on this, please?
Well, I make a motion that we approve it based on the superintendent's recommendation.
Sandy? Sandy,
We lost her.
we lost Sandy.
We did.
So did John Travolta.
Yes.
Merciful heavens. Okay.
I like that. Well, they're actually good friends, Sandy and John.
Yeah,
So
I know.
Yeah,
I know they are.
very good friends.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll definitely second that, so,
So where does that leave us?
well,
Maybe Sandy's trying to reconnect. I don't know.
that's probably,
If she
Probably,
lost
I know
her
she-
internet.
I know she didn't just drop off for the sake of dropping off. Yeah. Unless the cat pulled the plug on her.
That could be.
So I'm gonna call this as an approval
Okay,
based on. Okay, was that you?
not me, not
That's
me.
probably my bird. That's my
Oh,
bird.
oh,
Every once in a while, it gets a little noisy. Oh, they're coming back.
Okay,
As long as she doesn't hit the button again, you're safe.
oh, there she is.
Welcome back, Sandy.
Thank you.
okay, I can't see you, so.
Can't take you anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Alan.
Whatever, okay, boom. I don't know what I've got going on here. There we go, I see you, Sandy, thank you, okay. Minot Avenue, Outback Engineering, this is on lots 1, 2, and 3.
I hate that one.
Mr. Chairman, before we move ahead, should we let Sandy know what we discussed and
Yeah.
have her vote in the affirmative for Lucky Goat?
Yeah, might as well. Well, she's here.
Because she's here.
Uh,
now.
Lucky Goat, the brewing company on Main Street, tying in, guy has conditions he's gonna set. In conjunction with it, doesn't look like it's gonna be an issue as long as they meet the conditions. So,
We have capacity for them?
Yes.
Is it, how much more capacity than what the fish market was?
Probably about 47 gallons a day. I don't know what the restaurant, they're gonna put what I don't know is probably 800 gallons per day because of the seating, but that's not gonna happen for a while. But even that's, Andy, the capacity is there. I'm not overly concerned. With the restaurant at its peak, it was almost 87 gallons left. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about the product itself because potentially it could be up to 10,000 milligrams per liter of BO. However, they're putting a pretreatment in to bring that down to under right around 85, I think it is.
Okay, and how many EDUs are you charging them?
I don't know because I haven't seen any plans. It'll probably be, if they actually put seats, it'll be 1 per 12 seat, and then they need utility. And then if they don't meet the criteria for the nutrients, then they have to increase their pretreatment. That'll be on them. That's their cost. Because they're putting in pretreatment now to meet the conditions. I'm just going to make them sample to verify that the conditions are being met.
okay, we've made a
Sorry.
motion and seconded it, so
Who made the motion?
Me,
Donna made the motion, I seconded it, as you were hiding.
Okay,
All in favor? Good.
aye.
All right, thank you. That's all of us. Okay, now back to lots 1, 2, and 3.
Doing? You got sexy time and I.
I'm on a meeting.
They're trying to reinstate their amount. Guy, this is all this is.
All it is they're looking, they had permission to tie in. There was a long process of them getting, for some reason, it became a dispute of ownership. I don't forget what it was. So the owner is trying to bring that back. Nothing's changed. So this is for lots 1, 2, and 3 on mine.
Yeah, but we took this back so we could put in.
No, we didn't
5,
actually,
6.
we didn't take
So
it
we have-
back. We talked about taking it back. We didn't have a policy regarding that. And we didn't issue anything to 4, 5, and 6.
So 4, 5, and 6 doesn't have sewer approval
That's
yet?
correct at this moment.
We did.
I thought we did too.
Guy, I'm not here. Okay. Hello.
We approved 4, 5, and 6.
Thank
Okay,
you.
and we would
They're
pull
separate
back.
owners. The
Yes.
owner for 1, 2, and 3, there was I don't know how much, it was a divorce. And the property went in limbo. So now the owner somehow has got it back and he's looking to revive the allotment to tie into sewer.
I just have a problem with that because it's over the year. It's over the year, is it not?
Oh, it's well over the years. It's probably 3.
So I have a problem with that.
Well,
Somebody want to help me out here? I mean,
yeah,
because
well, I mean, there's a problem with it, but we've got no policy regarding it. So, I mean, basically, if we issue
wha-
something at this point, they've been in limbo till whenever they put it into effect. There's been nothing that, it's not a.
but is
building
it any
permit.
fault of ours, Jim?
It is
No,
not having
no
a
fault
policy.
of ours.
So
It's only from the standpoint of not having a policy.
so what's recommended by the what's Guy recommend?
Well, again, the flow is, I recommend we approve it. We already gave
Okay.
it to them. There were some issues there. The bill and permit was pulled. They revived it. They're doing what they need to do. I'd make sure,
Okay,
and with the
let's-
exact same conditions is lot 3, 4, 5, and 6, which would be the construction reputable with a sleeve, with a bond, the whole 9 yards, exact same project, I believe. There should be no less conditions than lots 4, 5, and 6.
All right. Motion?
In a minute.
All
I'm
right,
looking-
I'll make a motion to approve.
No,
it.
wait, sorry.
All right, go ahead.
Is this the one where we had a $200,000 bond because they were going to go into the force main?
That's on lots 4, 5, and 6.
And you're saying it's going to be the exact same thing for lots 1, 2, and 3?
Yes, ma'am.
So part of our motion is that the same criteria or restrictions regarding a certified person on site. All engineering recommendations, 100,000 bond for repair, 100,000 bond for the bypass with a 6-month time in order to make it happen. I just wanted to make sure that we're understanding the criteria for 1, 2, 3 is exactly at 4, 5, and 6.
Yes, the owner of 1, 2, and 3 was at the meeting for 4, 5, and 6. He's well aware of the criteria for 4, 5, and 6, and he was told that it'd be the same criteria for 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Is he gonna legally be bound by that? Because we
Yes.
know how things happen.
Well, it's where he cannot tie in without meeting our conditions. If they'll meet the conditions, before he does anything, he's gonna put a bond in place, and then he's gonna have a reputable contractor. Then he's gonna put sleeves. So if none of that happens, he can't tie in. He just simply can't tie in. It's gotta meet the conditions.
Right.
Motion? Donna?
Yeah. All right, I make a motion that we approve for 1, 2, and 3 with the same conditions that were presented to the other owner, and as long as they meet all the conditions by the Wareham Sewer Department.
I will second that.
Hey, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 3-0-0. Next one is
Did we ever
Green
happen,
Sea-
what happened to Chapel Lane?
That was an example of Jim's policy, the extreme end, and we're gonna discuss it with his policy.
Okay, because I can't find any document on it.
No, it's
No,
just,
we
it just
don't have
threw it in
it.
there.
It's just a discussion.
Okay, sorry.
Green Seal Environmental. This,
Well, this is actually trade winds, on the Old Navy.
go ahead.
They're, Mr. Chairman, and board members, they're looking to put a marijuana facility. They're going to, I guess, grow it. They're going to process it. They're going to sell it. I think they're doing everything in there from soup to nuts. If I remember correct as I read it.
Right.
Green Seal is representing them, and they presented all the facts. Your packet's quite thick on that. I see nothing that jumps out hard at us. The flow, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't know enough about marijuana, to be frank with you. So we're going to make them, again, do the same thing with testing. Put a composite sampler. Everything they say meets our criteria. But again, this is for everybody. This is a new avenue we're going down. Anything we do with marijuana is a new avenue. We don't know enough about it to stop it. For me to say, I don't want it because of this, that, there's not enough about it, that it's affect the impact to the wastewater. I don't know. But
So you're saying it must be tested before they can hook up?
well, they've already tested others. They've got examples of others. We have that. And so it's pretty harmless. Others, we're not going to know until they actually go online. We're really not. And so
Okay.
we're going to have them composite sampler. If anything jumps out, then they'll be responsible to mediate it.
What is the flow expected from the site?
Oh, gosh, I forgot. I think
Do we
about,
have capacity?
I think it was, yes, 400, I think it was 450 gallons a day. It was not too much less than, because remember, there used to be avionics, it's all people. And most of the people working there, Sandy, are going to use the bathrooms. There's nothing else. The manufacturing is going to be self-contained, self-controlled. Water's going to be recycled. It's going to be, so it's
So
not,
we don't have an issue with capacity.
not at all. It's
the-
existing.
So it's pretty much a wash from what was there for the previous business.
That is correct.
So the worst thing that can happen is we can all get high from it, right?
Yeah, I worry about getting my bacteria high. And when they get high, they may not work. That becomes a permit issue. But
Okay, do
All
I
right.
have a
Matt, I don't see the
motion
issue.
on this?
Okay,
Can I get a motion from somebody?
I make
Okay.
a motion that we approve the project as represented by the superintendent.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sandy, Jim? 300.
Get off. You're on my, get
Now
off.
we're back to GHD.
Yep.
This is really a carryover from last week.
Yep.
And the question was, where were we going to get the funding on it? And our discussion partially revolved around the unforeseen funding that we carry in the budget. And in talking with the town manager, with Derek, he recommended going that route,
Which route?
unforeseen.
Do we have an account called
Yes.
unforeseen? What is it
Well,
called?
whatever it's called.
Unforeseen?
We have it in the budget.
Somebody have an idea of what it's called?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. Let me think real quick. It's called,
Unexpected expenses? I don't
it's
know.
called reserve.
No,
Reserve fund, I forget the exact terminology. We've changed it a couple of times. We put $250,000 a year away in a reserve fund that can only be expended with the sewer commissioner's approval. It's for unforeseen matters, unanticipated, unforeseen. So it's money that's not in the budget per se. Something happens, we have a major break, we need $250,000. That
Okay.
comes in front of the Board of Sewer Commissioners, they approve it. So we call it unforeseen, unanticipated.
I make a motion that we expend $115,000 from unanticipated fund balance. It is
Second?
150, it is 100.
115,000.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
Now,
Mr. Chairman, what I have to do now is I got a form, we'll fill it out.
Yep.
Request the funds, I'll send it to the board, they'll sign it, and I'll send it to Mr. Sullivan. He'll endorse it, then we'll send it over to accountant, so those funds can be drawn immediately.
okay, then we need to sign the contract for
Yes.
GHD. I make a motion, we sign the contract for GHD for groundwater discharge evaluation.
I second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay. Russ, do you have anything to kick in on this?
Other than a sincere thank you to you, Mr. Chairman, and the board. I really do appreciate the opportunity. I apologize for wearing the baseball cap. I was at another job site, but I do have my
Oh, it's
safety
nice.
safety
But it
yeller.
The cap looks good.
Looks great to me.
Well,
Well, I
Well,
wouldn't
thank
be
you.
surprised, Mr. Chairman, if we get him from a boat and fishing while he's talking to us. I don't think that's going to be out of the realm of possibility.
Well, at least,
no
At least
picking,
you
no
can't see
picking
it.
on the engineer.
thank
Hey, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
and to the board members. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Russ, be safe.
Now you're gonna get this,
Thank you. I'll,
you're gonna get this project done real fast, right?
we will put, we're ready to start right away for sure.
Okay.
Now, what does this mean that when the article presented for special spring comes out, it's modified on the floor to remove the 115,000 from the total?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think I'd like to have a motion that we will make that, Jim will make that change on the town meeting, special spring town meeting floor?
I think Derek's going to take care of that without, but as I talked to Derek, Jim was in the house one day, I talked to Derek myself about this, and I think he's just going to remove the article. I think that's all that's going to happen. Because we have another funding source, so why remove the article forward? But you can talk to him.
Well, the article, wait a minute, Guy, the article contains the money for the 2 million.
That's one article. I'm talking about the article for the 115.
All 3 items are in the same article.
I thought they were separate.
Nope, all in one article. The 3.125 million was one article.
I thought we did 3 separate articles.
I wouldn't argue with her.
I'm not trying to argue. I want to make sure we're right. If she says it's been one, then it's one.
You know she's right.
I'm not gonna. Yeah. If it's one article, yeah, whatever it is we'll do.
Wait a minute, I got the article, I got the town, special town meeting. Of course, I have the warrant. Let me just. Yeah, the one article, Article 10, see the town will vote to appropriate $3,175,000 from retained earnings for Cove Street, Mira Cove, the groundwater discharge, and the nitrogen filters, all in the same article. So we have to modify that article on town meeting floor to reduce it by $115,000.
That's all.
So who's going to take care of that? Would Mr. Sullivan take care of that at the floor?
No, Jim would as the chair of the sewer commissioners.
Okay.
Because it was the sewer commissioners that submitted the article.
Okay.
Now, Jim, were you able to get an answer from anybody regarding retained earnings that won't be approved until the end of the fiscal year? We have an issue of retained earnings that won't be used in FY20.
I don't know.
I don't have an answer on that.
Because I think, wait a minute, that was one thing we're going to talk about is that, like we had the issue with the C Street last town meeting, we didn't use it and we lost the funds because it retained earnings.
Exactly.
Its capital went back into the budget, went back into retained earnings. We have the same situation this year. You have $300,000 for a lining project, $90,000 for rehab of manholes. It's just not going to get done. With COVID-19, we can't get it done. So we'll lose those funds back into retained earnings. We don't lose them, but they go back to retained earnings. They're not available till we bring them back out at town meeting or whatever.
We have to re-ask for them.
So if that is the case, then maybe, just thinking, we withdraw our total motion, our total article for special spring, because we'll have no time to implement the 2 million for the denitrification and the money and the 1 million for C Street. It's my understanding that there will be a second annual town meeting in August. Maybe we submit our article then for consideration.
I'm always a nervous Nelly about town meetings. I suggest we do the article for now. Matter of fact, so here's the thing. C Street's being worked on. The engineers are going to bid as we speak. So that's an active article. Let's get C Street moving. The same thing with the groundwater discharge. That's moving. And we're also moving forward with the filters as far as our obligation to DEP. Now the filters, if we took the filters out and reallocated in August, then we have a contract we're reviewing now that's going to get to you folks shortly that we wouldn't even entertain till after that. All I'm saying is that if the money can be appropriated, we're fine. My only concern, Sandy, and I don't have an answer, is if we don't use it by the end of the fiscal or start by the end of the fiscal, will we lose it? And that's where my concerns are.
And it's my understanding.
Wait a minute. You're talking about losing it. Are we losing it or is it going back into retained earnings?
Goes back to retained earnings.
Okay, so we're not losing it. We're just replacing it. It's one of those semantics routine. It's a semantics game.
Well,
We
And
lose-
we've got a timing in there, so we have to re-ask for it.
We
and get it
lose the ability to do the projects because
I
we don't
understand
have
that.
funds
That's right.
till
I
2021.
understand that.
And
But
Russ is trying to
but-
get his hand up.
I'm sorry, Russ, go ahead.
I just have a brief suggestion, and Guy, cut me off if I start going down a random path here, but the town does have the obligation with DEP for the funds for the intended use program, which there needs to be a set of plans for the D-night filter and for the other projects listed on that by October of this year. So would a potential suggestion be to modify the language of that article to use the funds for the design of the projects on the intended use plan? And then we
I
can go
think-
back to special town meeting?
It's beyond the scope of the article. I do not think that change would be allowed.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it's all about the scope of the article, and you can't just redo the article. It's gotta be within the scope of the
Okay.
article.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay,
Well,
so
let's see we'll keep the article in there. We'll modify it by reducing the 115,000 and
Thank
see
you.
what happens for the
that would
town
make, to
meeting
me,
on the 15th of June.
Yep,
to
I
me,
agree.
that would make the most sense at this point.
Okay. I would like to have a vote that we are going to modify the article we submitted.
Make a motion.
I make a motion that we modify Article 10
Ken,
of the special Springtown meeting to reduce it by $115,000.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, get that note. Okay, we have a letter from Buzzards Bay Coalition. No, I'll just put it there. Yes. Looking for us to contribute $35,000 against a potential, if they receive it, grant for, what the hell, how would you describe it?
For modeling.
For modeling for the
to assist.
infrastructure for the town. What this would be, what according to what she's written here, is it would be to model the sewer infrastructure basically to help us support future planning issues. It will also give us an idea what our capacities are in areas that we haven't looked at yet for future connections, hookups, whether or not the infrastructure is able to take additional capacity. The plant itself is one thing, but the infrastructure itself, whether they can carry it, is another.
Do we need it?
Absolutely. It's something we need to do eventually anyways. We can do it in pieces or we can just get it done.
Do we have funds available?
We do. It would come out of the monies that Walmart put aside for engineering.
Who
Right.
did? Walmart?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
Walmart put aside as engineering. We got 100,000. We've used 20 of it. So I have $80,000. I think around $80,000 left.
And I make a motion that we approve it.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sandy, Jim, Donna. 300. Guy, you're on stage.
I have a report. I tell you the truth, I didn't go because I know our time was short.
Yeah,
When they should get, there's an issue to discuss on the capacity issue, whatever. So I really don't have a report to present.
okay. I hope you guys saw that little thing I put out to you on the,
Okay, you want comments?
yes. Most definitely.
Yeah, but I think you said not from you, Sandy.
Yeah,
You caught that.
I got that. In the first sentence, allocation for sewer capacity tie-ins will be granted for a period of 1 year, starting when? I think we need to see, if it's gonna be 1 year, when does it start?
At the time it's granted.
Okay, so we need to add that. So as the time of approval.
Makes sense.
Then it goes, on, if the work on the project has not begun within this period of time, the allowance will cease. You mean the allocation will cease?
Allocation allowance, same thing.
Well, I just thought we'd be consistent in always calling it an allocation.
Okay, fine. It's okay.
I hate to interrupt, guys, but I gotta leave. And I know there's only 3 of us here.
Can you delay for about 10 minutes? Because it's going to end in 10 minutes.
I
We
know,
have to end. We have to end in 10 minutes.
okay.
Or actually, if we can just finish this discussion.
Is
and
it,
so-
we can't put it over to the next meeting?
Well,
Well, let me just continue, and I bet it could be done in
Yeah.
2 minutes.
go ahead. Go ahead.
In the next paragraph, valid reasons for continuance may be presented to the board for reconsideration or consideration. And then it goes on within the limits of our current needs. I'm not sure why we're reconsidering.
Because it went away. Or it's
Exactly.
going away. Yeah, that's a good point. It's going away.
But they're asking for a continuance prior to the end of the 1-year period.
Okay.
So what they're within the limits, so it's just something, I think we should say that if they ask for a continuance, it has to be within the 1-year period
Okay.
and not after the fact.
You're right, because they should know
Yes.
if they're not going to meet the 1 year.
Then the phase project will only be considered on a phase-by-phase basis as needed. I'm not sure we need that because we're going to approve the project. We don't approve pieces of a project, do we?
If they're going to piece the project together, I think we should approve it on a piece-by-piece basis.
Then,
Because all we're doing is tying the thing up, and they could be in limbo going along, piecing his thing, a 3-phase unit together over a 6-year period.
but we're only going to
And-
give them 1 year for each phase. All right. That was my only comment. Oh, it wasn't. I had many comments. Sorry.
Okay, but any comments you've got, any additional ones, Sandy, send them to me, because this isn't the final product. Right now, we're
Okay,
trying to get this thing to
Then it's still a draft. So
Reasonable.
Donna, goodbye.
Bye.
Are you still
Because when
awake, Donna?
Of course I'm awake.
Okay,
There's
just
nothing
checking.
more, there's nothing more to vote on.
Okay. Well, all right, guys.
Okay,
Donna, take care of
Thank you.
yourself. Nice
You
to see
too.
you.
Bye-bye.
Good
Are
night.
we,
Good night.
okay, so allocation memo is still draft.
It's in the draft form.
yeah, it's this, that's all this is. That's all this was for, was just to get this thing going so we can get it completed.
Okay,
We'll redo these, add these comments. Anything else you got to throw in there, Sandy, or if there's anybody else that has, as I say, this was not a
Okay,
completed thing by any means.
our next
wasn't-
meeting is June 4th in room 320.
Well, that's what she's got down here. We'll see what happens on what the,
I don't think the town's going to open up June 4th.
okay.
I'm guessing, but whatever it is. So you got to make if we can find out before June 4th, we'll leave it as it is. If we see that it's not going to happen, then we'll have to do another one of these videos.
That's all.
I think that's it. Just one or the other.
6-4 to be determined location.
I think that's better. I think that says it all.
Okay, Donna left too soon. She didn't do a duty.
Before she left, she at least did a motion.
Donna,
She's gone.
oh man. You mean we're gonna have to stay in session until we can get back to her again?
Yeah, we got to get it back. No,
I make
I'll
a
do that.
motion, we adjourn at 6:48.
Okay, I'll second it. Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you very much, Russ.
Thank you, Russ.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Russ, take care
guys.
of
Good night.
yourself.
Good
Bye,
seeing
guy.
everybody.
Be safe, guy.
Be safe.